Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another first listen review, and I guess we're back on track with the babbling. And before we get into all that though, I just want to ask you to like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because like I've been saying, this is how we keep the music we love alive, because usually we're talking about bands that have been around a little while, and I just think talking about them, letting people know what music is out there and discussing it and sharing it just keeps it out there and all that. So that's why I do this stuff. But anyway, I'm already going off on a tangent, but what I'm talking about today is Pattern Seeking Animals and their 6th studio album. I didn't realize they had already had that many out, but yeah, this is number 6. It's called Grimalkin. I didn't have any idea what a Grimalkin was. I actually had to look it up. I guess it's some type of mystic gray cat, something to do with witches. I know Shakespeare apparently had written about this in Macbeth. I haven't read Macbeth since high school. So I don't remember any of that, but apparently somewhere along the lines, so very proggy title. Anyway, not an extremely proggy album, but I'll get into that in just a minute in case those of you who are not familiar with Pattern Seeking Animals. It's basically a bunch of guys that were in Spock's Beard, a lot of the newer members, and once Spock's Beard was on hiatus, because they just tend to they've been changing members, ever since Neal left. They've changed members quite a few times, so they've done that, and they go on hiatus, and these people go on and do their own project, and then they come back. Did I say Ted? It's Ted, actually. But anyway, they they decide to start this project on the side. And basically who they are is Ted Leonard is on vocals and guitar. He's been very involved with Neal Morse, still to this day, I believe. And part of his band, the Neal Morse Band, I think he's part of that, if I remember correctly. Neal Morse does so much stuff, it's hard to remember which things are his and the band and the other projects and whatnot, but he is involved in that, and probably something else I'm forgetting. I got Jimmy Keegan on drums and vocals, Dave Maros on bass and vocal, and I know I'm going to say this name wrong, John Bogehold, I don't know, synths, mellotron, guitar, mandocello, vocals, and he's the main composer of this music. And I don't think he performs with them live. If they've done any, they have done live things. I know I've watched them on YouTube, but I don't think he performs with them, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how that goes. And he produced this thing too. So basically, I've been listening to this band quite a bit over the years. I think some of their more earlier projects, their earlier albums, were a little bit more proggy. This one, to me, I'm just going to generalize a little bit here, had an overall more of a cinematic feel. That's the best way I can think to describe this. Like, it would be a great movie soundtrack. I don't know if there's a storyline that I'm missing here. It didn't seem like there was, but maybe, I don't know. It's got like there's 8 tracks, there's like 4 longer ones and 4 kind of shorter ones that are a little bit more to the point. And it starts with one of the longer ones, and like right from the start, it just had a different feel to it for me. It just started with a very cinematic feel, like a soundscape type introduction to it, and then it did pick up and picks up a pretty solid groove, a little bit into the song, and that was definitely one of the few times it went into an odd time signature. I believe it was 7/4 time, just a little bit odd, not anything crazy. It only did that, I believe, like one other time in the album. Otherwise, these songs are a little bit more straightforward than normal, but didn't take away from it all. This was just a different version of the band, or a different road that they decided to go down. I think it worked really well, mostly. This is one that worked really well. And one thing you're always going to get with these guys is crazy good musicianship, extremely good vocals, and tons of harmonies. And the harmonies on this one are insanely tight and good, and I find them very interesting. They're not just a normal, 3-part harmonies. They actually experiment a little bit more with what they do, and I really kind of like that they do that. And they do experiment with some different sounds. Bogehold's, I'm going to say that name wrong, I'm sure, every time. His choice of sounds is a little bit more unique, I think, than most keyboard players, synthesizers, all that stuff. And this even though this track here doesn't veer off into like any two more weird, time signatures, it does go to like half time in the middle, and it does do some cool stuff, and there's a great guitar solo in this one too, and then it fades out with a flute. So I mean, you got all kinds of interesting things going on in that. Flower to Grow on here is like it's more like a piano medley, but this is where I noticed that the bass is like actually kind of takes over the song. At least for me, it did. I think his tone is just insanely good, and I've always noticed that I should say with Spock's Beard, even previous bass players that they had, but yeah, the bass tone in the song actually just really stood out to me, and that's kind of like where I started noticing that. It was this song. I didn't stick out to me quite as much in the opening track, but this one it really did. Leonard sounds like he's reaching a little bit in the song as far as singing goes, but still nailing everything. Sounded really good. It sounded like maybe it's like, compare that to like John Wetton. I love John Wetton, but John always seemed like he was like reaching the peak of his limit. But I always like that. I like that when they're like it feels like there's a little bit more emotion to it. And I think when singers do that, so for me, I didn't mind. I just happened to notice it. Jade Sky was a weird one. It had a very Western feel to it. I was picturing like old Western movies, Clint Eastwood stuff, but it was just a little different for them. Yeah, but I did like that. That one was also another one seemed maybe like he was trying to hit some notes in there that were like at the peak of his limit, but that was, like I said, I actually don't mind that. I think kind of like it when singers push their limits and hit it. He hit it. He may hit every note, but it sounded like he was really, really going for it. So I like that though. Probably the most mellow and shortest song, actually, I don't think this was even 3 minutes long, was the song Things I Don't Do, which sounded really familiar to me. It's just a short little piano ballad, great catchy melody. There's a female backing vocal going on in this little thing going on. There's a little spoken thing in here that kind of, I didn't think added anything to the song, but the song itself was like really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Actually, I went back and listened to that one. The very first time I listened through this, I went back and checked that one again because I liked it so much. So I don't often do that. Breakaway was another one that went out a little bit more. This one's probably maybe the most proggy song on here. It's a little bit more intricate than the rest of the songs on the album. Aside, there was actually one other one on here that was actually really good here. I'll get to that in a second though. A lot of stuff going on in this one. The chorus had a very intricate harmony again, melody, which I actually really thought was cool. Some cool keyboard stuff going on in this one. I really like that one. For people who listen to my channel, you probably noticed I took notes on this one because there's a lot to remember. I don't always take notes, but this one I wrote down a couple things. Then the song Travel Around the Wrong Road Home, great. There's some weird horns in it that I'm not sure if, I'm undecided on whether I like that or not. I'm not a big fan of horns generally. I probably would prefer them not there, but they are there. It doesn't really, I don't think it takes away from the song. I don't really think it adds anything either, but it was just, something there I didn't think needed to be, but that's just my little nitpickiness of that one. The song I was talking about earlier that I think is the most proggy, most pattern-seeking animal song on the whole album is one called Slowly Falls the Flying Man, which best track on the album by far. It had a little medieval tone to it, which actually is like one of my favorite styles of music, so I really, really enjoyed this one. It's a long one, a little over 8 minutes. I don't know. It just, everything about the song is everything I would want in a progressive rock song that's really not super progressive, and this is the other one that also does a little 7/4 progression in there. It's just got it's got all kinds of little tiny things thrown in this. There's like a recorder solo in there. There's a violin. There's like a marching section in it, like a marching snare section, I should say. There's a little synth solo. There's also just some little couple odd time things like I mentioned there. And just a great song. Awesome song. I don't want to spoil it too much, but that was a great song. And then it ends with a song called "I Dream of the World," which is like kind of like just a more of a pop song. Actually, I thought it was a very odd, almost out of place song, but it still sounded like Pattern Seeking Animal somehow. just because it's them and they have the, you know, the keyboard tones are a little bit more different, and just it still sound like them, but that's something that they've ever done before. It's the most pop song I think I've ever heard them do. Super catchy though, good song, really liked it. So I think if the album would have opened with that song, maybe I would have been a little bit more judgmental of the album, so maybe it was good that they left it at the end and just kind of a palate cleanse at the very end, I guess. But it was a really good album. Gone on really long with this one, but I did take notes, like I said, so it took me a little bit longer with the notes. Maybe I will, or maybe I won't do it. Well, tell me what you think. Do you like it better when I actually focus in on what the stuff should be, or do you like it better when I just wing it? Because that's usually what I do. I just wing it, try to go from memory what I heard. But this one, I knew there was going to be a lot to remember, and I didn't want to forget anything. So that's why I did it that way. Really like this album. I'm going to end it there, and I'm sure I got more stuff coming this weekend, because there was a couple things. Finally, we got a good weekend where some stuff came out, and I'm going to get to that. But until then, we will see you.